Okay, today, why I'm negative about positive psychology. This is a short one, I hope. So apart from turning up on time and making sure that you are studying undergraduate and 1, 2, 3, 4, but you to think critically, help to speak like me, stop doing stupid things. Okay, so what's wrong with positive psychology? How can anything be wrong with positive psychology? It's positive, for goodness sake. You know, it's better than negative, isn't it? And it's all about that lovely stuff like mindfulness training and resilience training and promoting well-being and all that sort of stuff. So what could possibly be wrong with all that? Let you into a little secret. Don't know how big a secret this is, but not many people know this. The people behind positive psychology, some of the main contributors to that theory, believe that social context has very little impact on our well-being. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, money doesn't make you happy. And they'll use this example of lottery winners. You know, they'll say, look at the lottery winners. Look how their lives have turned out. Are they any happier with all those millions of dollars or pounds or convert into your own home currency? Are they happier because of that? And then the positive psychologist will answer that question for you and say, no, they're not. No, they're not any happier. We've had a look at them and they're not any happier. There's a couple of things wrong here. One, it's a pretty extreme example. You know, not many of us win the lottery. That's the whole point of a lottery, is that only a very small number of people are going to win it. So that's number one problem. Next problem is to generalize from that very small number of people to the rest of us, saying that because money didn't make them happy, that it's not going to make us happy. The other problem with that example is who it's speaking to. It's speaking to government, and it's saying to governments, don't worry about poverty. You know, all of this misery and disease that's caused by poverty, actually, government, it's not your responsibility. The fault lies with the people in poverty. The fault lies in the way they're thinking about their social and economic conditions. So what we've got to do is get them to think more positively. You know, it sounds really crude, doesn't it, like that? It sounds quite unbelievable, doesn't it, that a cure for poverty would be positive thinking. But that's what we're talking about. And that's not an extreme, exaggerated version of the argument that they make. So positive psychology basically says that the socio-economic environment contributes very little to your happiness and your well-being. You know, it doesn't matter that you have no money. It doesn't matter that you're living in poverty. It doesn't matter that you're living in poor quality housing. It doesn't matter that you can't find a job or you've got a miserable job. It doesn't matter. All of that stuff is context, which doesn't matter. What matters is what's in your head. What matters is how you think about the context in which you're in. So if you're in poverty, well, actually what you got to do is think more positively about your conditions. Think more positively about being in poverty. Be more optimistic, be hopeful, you know, and then your life will change. So that's the key problem as they see it. It's not the economic conditions that lead to people living in poverty. It's negative thinking in people's heads. It sounds it sounds ridiculous. I mean, it sounds pretty offensive. Take this theory to people who are living in poverty and tell them, actually, the problem's not the fact you haven't got any money. The problem's the fact that you're just pessimistic. You've got a pessimistic outlook. So that's what they'll argue, you know, that the socioeconomic conditions don't really matter. I think they'll say something like, it contributes maybe 10%. You know, 10% of people's misery is due to the conditions in which they're living. The other 90% of their misery is due to what's going on in their heads. It's due to them thinking negatively about the conditions in which they're living. So that's why I'm negative about positive psychology.